Climate change. I began studying climate change probably in about 1985. I went to Greenhouse 87, 88 and 2007. I am independent. I'm not employed within the science. I'm just a polymath. I'm just someone who has spent their whole life trying to understand everything there is about this problem. And so, my conclusions after all this time, it seems like all the predictions made in those first greenhouse conferences 30 something years ago have come true. The worst has happened. And it seems like we're not in a position to even change the direction of our consumption. We are destined, by all predictions, to end up with 2 or 3 degrees above average. An absolute outrage. We should not be treating the future like this. We cannot let future generations to be born into such a horrific time. Now, there are two schools of thought. One is that individuals are the problem, and the other is that the society, the technology that we're dependent upon, it is the problem. Some people say we should be led by the politicians and by the leaders of commerce and industry. Some say we should take on individual responsibility, and through our purchasing patterns and our behaviour, we can minimise the production of those things that cause harm to us and the planet. So we're not human enough. We don't see this as an existential threat. Maybe we do, but we might see that it's not our problem, it's the future's problem. But if we do that, it means we don't really understand what it is that we are, what our life is, what it has come from, why it is me and why it is you that is experiencing this reality. There's a deep philosophical question here. There's something in the cosmos that is conscious. It is exceptional. We must understand the nature of this thing, because if we do, we understand each other, we understand the past, and we understand the future. We know what it is that we are as this manifestation of consciousness in cosmos. It's a very precious thing. Now, this experiment we have with being here, this ongoing development of our evolution and our cultural technological development, it may continue. But if it continues in the current direction, then we're in deep, deep trouble. So we have to dramatically change. And having studied this problem for so many decades, my conclusion is that we need to change and become more like humans. Now, you'll probably think that you're exactly like a human and all around you are just exactly like humans. But your behaviour is nothing like a human. Your behaviour is nothing like a hunter-gatherer. You don't live by the seasons. You are not aware of the function and purpose and reason for existence of all the things that are in your physical, biological surrounds. You don't understand your ancestry and your kinship to the people who pass you on the streets. These are all strangers. We're living in a domesticated form. And by doing that, we've lost certain things. Now, one of those things is the ability to sing. That has been lost in just a century. So we should become singers again, and not just ordinary singers, but true masters of the human voice. Now, this is called overtone singing. It's producing 2 musical notes or more at the same time, as in not a good demonstration, but look it up. Overtone singing, harmonic singing. It is something that we were doing long before we became experts at symbolic sound communication. It was the reason why we became good communicators. We were already masters of human sound. So our minds evolved to have that as an underlying skill. Now, I can use my voice to be heard 4 kilometres away. Now I know that is true because I can hear my echo 16 seconds it takes to come back. We should have this skill. It's a skill of self-defense. It's a skill of beauty. We should be using this in courtship. We should be using this to bind ourselves together as families and friends and communities and cities. It's free. It costs nothing but the effort involved in learning your musical instrument. Now, anytime you want to learn a musical instrument, you will need to put 3 years of practice into it. So after we've done this, and hopefully you've incorporated the other 3 principles, which are mastery of movement, mastery of thought, and becoming more like a polymath by continuing your education in all fields of science that are relevant. Now, if we do these things for 3 years, we'll find ourselves to be a highly motivated, innovative, powerful culture of amazing minds. Now that will cause us to be able to develop strategies for avoiding climate change, adapting to climate change. And if all else fails, if we avoid the coming calamity, if we do nothing or little, then if you master these 4 principles, then you'll be in a very good position to allow the collapse to be rebuilt after the collapse, and to have learned from those lessons long ago. Never allow something like capitalism to put a price on nature, put a price on work, put a price on objects. They have their intrinsic value, not the value that we put on them. So how much is petrol worth? Should it be worth $1 billion a litre? Is that what it should be worth? Is it worth 1 cent a litre? We put a value on it. We say it's expensive. Well, what is that? What is expense? What is the true cost? And we have people coming out and saying, like Musk saying he can build a car that can go from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, and 0 to 100 kilometres an hour in 3.2 seconds. But why do we want to do that? Why do we want to squander energy in something that's utterly pointless? And that's the problem with us. We do things that are pointless. We are distracted. We are preoccupied by things that don't matter. So if you follow my instructions and become an entire population of overtone singers, in 3 years' time, we will be able to fill the sporting stadiums with massive choirs, massive Mexican waves, massive roars of laughter. We can do the performances. Spontaneous choir will show you. Spontaneous are the rules that will teach you how to master what it is you can become as a vocalist, and what kind of community we can develop as our society has this enormous revelation, a revolution, a cultural renaissance into what it is that we truly are as humans. Amazing vocalists. That is our revolution. That is the thing that changes the nature of what it is that we are back to what it is we are as humans, away from our domestication. It empowers us. It allows us to make the future paradise, to choose the future we want our descendants to be born into. For what it is that we are as consciousness is alive in them, just as it was alive in our ancestors. We have a responsibility, but doing this is going to be so amazing. Thanks very much. I'm Pete the Polymath. I just accumulate the knowledge of the world and make sense of it, and try and explain how important all of that is. So share this video far and wide. And thanks very much.